big.
In or out, it's your call.
There's no ref here.
That's on us.
Decisions like these are about trust.
That's spirit.
Not a slogan.
But to be fair,
Even when the game is on the line.
It's not easy.
Sometimes it gets intense.
Because spirit keeps the game bigger than the point.
Bigger than the call.
bigger than me,
It's how I know I can go all out.
and trust my opponent will too.
It's not just rules, it's respect.
Because when you respect the call,
You respect the player.
It's every decision you make.
Every conversation, every point.
It's the reason I compete at my best.
And when I have to make the call,
In or out.
I'll call it honestly.
Because spirit is the standard.
And we don't play below it.
Welcome back to our coverage of the 2026 Canadian Ultimate Championships here in beautiful Surrey, British Columbia. I'm Clayton Halla here with Coach Habib Atala to bring you our first mixed senior matchup on the stream this week. This is day one of our senior tournament here at the Newton Athletic Park on the traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples. Very privileged to be here. The weather has been amazing. The facility and the environment has been amazing. We are so lucky we can be here to do this. Today, our matchup is going to be between Quest. They will be in light. They are from Quebec City versus Koda, who will be in dark green from the Kitchen, Waterloo, Guelph, Cambridge area. Kind of the conglomerate four-city team. Habib, we were talking before the game. We think this is going to be a close matchup. You've got some connections on both teams here. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to a tight game. Honestly, I feel like there's going to be some exchanging, some holds, some pretty clean holds. Perhaps the wind is starting to pick up right now, so you never know what's going to pop up on this turf. Quebec City, coached by William Landry, head coach, and Chloé Laflamme, assistant coach. I've been coaching for a while right now, and I love the way that they play their offense. They are very gritty defenders as well. And Koda got some connections on that team as well. I know a couple players.
The second set of Bears making their appearance on the stream today. Quest has been a typically strong team, getting to, at the very least, semifinals in their repeated appearances at Nationals. Koda has been kind of lurking, knocking on the door of that top 8 every year since their inception. So we'll see how they do. They are starting on offense on the right side of the field. You are currently looking at Quest in white on the left. And the pull is up. Woman matching pull to start. We'll talk about the gender match pulls and numbers a little bit as this game progresses. Koda starting with a side stack. No options right away. They flip it around to Miller. Miller takes off for the give go, but it's contested. Marianne Stone's calling a foul right away, just signaling to everybody. I think Keegan is calling that as his defender, number 15, Mathis Tougeron, pardon me, Habib's going to help me, everybody. Made the play there, so they're going to talk about it. We do have two observers this game, Dom and Zita, and Dom is right there to help out in the orange.
I think Matisse probably saying that he was already occupying the space and most likely hit the disc first and got into that space, and maybe he's talking about incidental contact at this point. And
yeah, the incidental means it didn't affect the play, right? And they're both competing for the space. If Miller felt he pushed him out of the way to make the play, then it is a foul, accidental, as all fouls should be. Observer ruling, no foul. So Quest with an early opportunity for a break here. Fogg is going to pick up. He's not going to pick up. It's going to be number 27, Durand. Durand gets it to the open side. The Tergeronrois. And there's a call. There's not a call. And a little bit of fast play with some confusing calls. It's quiet. Not anymore. As Francis James Fogg is able to reel that in on the layout. An early break for Quest. The score 1-0. Habib.
un point bris pour Québec, Quest à ce point-ci. We are looking at, they look like they're running a traditional end zone set with the isolation at the front. For those who don't know, on that play, there was a hand signal that had the hands kind of flipping back and forth. So that was a signal for turnover. And so that is how they got the disc back on D, played some offense, and where to punch that in.
So speaking of signals, I just wanted to ask you right now, did you see what really happened there? It was weird. Both players sort of kind of pulled up from their stances there as it was Tergeronrois had the disc and he sort of said something and his defender put his hands up. That was Miller. And then suddenly it was stall 7. Did you see what happened there?
Yeah, there could have been some confusion on perhaps maybe there was something going on in the end zone, and then it looks like it was a play on. Everyone seemed to still be moving. The stalls kept, the stalls were still being counted by the Koda defender. And play continued, and nothing was called, and the observers, I guess, signaled no call in that case.
So this pull by Quest is into the wind. We'll talk about that later too. Doesn't go too far. For male matching this point, Jesse Harrison with the quick underneath. And he finds an open throw to Lauren Reed. That hangs a little bit for Stones, but she brings it down. And takes the inside to Harrison. And he is in. Harrison making use of some speed. Habib, you may know him.
Yeah, he seems familiar. You know what? I had the privilege of coaching him on the Team Canada U20 Open team in Spain this summer. Very coachable player and very quick, very fast. He loves to be aggressive in the lanes and just a very coachful, respectful person, high spirit of the game.
Well, Jesse, if you're watching this back later after the game in the future, that marks the nice things that Coach Habib's going to say about you. He's established that buffer. Get ready for some criticism, perhaps. West, up a break. The score 1-1. Very early. It's always an interesting stage at this game. Sitting here at our table in the sun to kind of figure out, well, where are they going to go? What's going to happen next? What's going on? And really hard to tell. It's often that teams are sort of feeling each other out at this stage. Of like, how do they cut? What's their timing like? Where can I position to take advantage? So scores are usually pretty tight at the beginning of the game.
Looking forward to seeing the O-line by Quest once again. They've had a lot of success with the offensive points. They like to play a vertical stack and sometimes a host stack with some variations. So looking forward to seeing them run again.
Machado's pole hangs, but it will stay in bounds. Centered to number 7, Duguay. Duguay has been an anchor for Quest today. Belmar flips that back to Bellefeuille. Duguay fakes the up. Koda bought it. And off the front of the stack is Frenette. And he's going to put that Oh, to Fournette, excuse me. It was the pass from Belmar. And a turnover is giving Koda a chance to get back on serve here. See how the D-line does with Butler with the disc. Moves it to Chen. Chen takes off up the line. Will it hang long enough? Chen making the grab on the big
What a
bid.
grab.
And he'll send that out to space. Coming under to get it is Clara Tung. She saw it was underthrown. Actually, Mandy Lai, that is, and she'll pitch that back. Makes its way over to Machado. Cunha takes off. It's not there, so instead, Butler tries the same cut, elevating, jumping early so he can bring it into the end zone. And Koda with the break. And that brings the score 2-1, and we are on serve. In ultimate parlance, on serve is indicating if everybody goes 50-50 shot for shot, point for point, the score will match that. So Koda starting the game on offense, and they just scored their last point, bringing that 1-point lead back. So even though you got broken, you don't want to give them that back if you're Quest, but nothing to panic about.
Absolutely. Koda fired up right now. They got the break they wanted, and looking like Quest is going to bring that O-line back together and see if they can recompose themselves for this point.
Not surprised to see, well, on your screen you're looking at Koda right now, and we're going to suss out their D-line as the game goes on, but I'm looking down at Quest's sideline, and I'm not surprised to see number 7, Sonny Duguay, out there, who in their previous game, Quest actually just played on this field, so they've had time to understand how the wind works here. And Duguay played every O point and was an anchor handler for their team.
Huge anchor on that line.
Yeah.
Huge anchor.
And centered to him in the middle. Starting in a horizontal offense is Quest. He gets that around the Fournette. He doesn't like her options under. He's looking for the around. She throws it out to space. It's going to hang. Machado tries to make the D, but Bellefeuille elevates and moves it around to Fournette. There's a travel call by Cunha. Fournette finds some room up the line. Brideau. Her pass hangs, and Koda comes up with the block.
You know, the wind is a little bit tricky right now. It's causing a lot of these passes to hang in the air, and receivers are going to have to attack it as hard as they can. And in that case, defensive player makes a nice closing out on that disc.
Machado and Miller playing a little bit of pass as Koda's vertical stack is sort of deep, and trying to get some production. They're going to go deep here. And there's a poach by number 37, Etienne Belmar, who gets the D. Common sight in mixed ultimate. Yeah, male matching players often trying to bait a throw, huck deep if they can poach off someone in the stack who's not very active. Very important when you're on offense to keep your check active. So those poaches can't happen. But great timing otherwise from Koda. Duguay moves to Belmar. Fournette. He's going to go across to Duguay. There's a call, a push-off called by Miller. I think it was a foul. He just stepped on his foot. So he's saying, hey, man, I should be able to catch up, but you still would have caught it. So that's good spirit. Duguay's going to look for Fournette. Not there. Duguay runs out of time, but he's got a receiver open deep. And it was for Godin, but it is instead number 8, Philippe Bellefeuille, who turns on the Jets to make the play. And that is a hold for Quest. We call that a dirty hold in the business when it's not clean. You had to score your 0 point with a turnover. The score, 2-2.
So stall count was rising. You had Duguay put up a shot, and props to Philippe Bellefeuille for sticking with the play, noticing that the disc is going to hang for a while or change its angle because of the wind. And so he stuck with that play and was able to make a nice play in the end zone.
So we weren't here for the stream earlier. The wind top left of the screen, or at least that rear corner of the end zone, far away from us here at the table on the bottom sideline. The wind's coming from that direction and kind of blowing across into the middle of the field, right into our faces here, which is causing any throw, really, where the bottom of the disc is tilted face up to that corner. It's always going to get pushed towards the sideline. And we saw earlier in the tournament in the junior phase that was a constant problem. We saw that affecting teams earlier. We see them affecting now. But as you said, Bellefeuille heads up, and Quest has already played on this field, so they know that's going to happen. Pull by Quest. Land just past the brick mark and is centered to Stones. Match defense here from Quest. Harrison and Stones play a little give-go. Harrison looking for something from the front of the stack. Timing not really there, but he's able to punch that to Bedley. Harrison. Good footwork. Moves it around to Stones, who finds an open Yee. And Yee is able to punch it in to Matthew Kariri. And Koda with the quick hold. So, tight sports match so far. And no team really showing an edge on the other yet.
Great handler movement by Stones, 24. Understanding that, reading the center handler, getting the disc, and she's coming out in a 7 cut to the break side of the field in order to create a lot of space for her next cutters downfield. So just very clean handler movement to bring up that score.
So, we talk about the gender a little bit. If you're not familiar with mixed ultimate too much, we have an odd number of players on the field. So how do you handle deciding the gender? Well, every 2 points, there's a switch. We do 2 points where there's 4 male matching players and 3 female, and then we switch. We do 2 points of the opposite, and whichever gender outnumbers the other has to pull on defense. So in this case, you're looking at 4 male matching players for Koda, so it will be a male pulling. A wonderful rule, actually, to make it so that each player on defense on the pull, like each gender, has to play to their strengths or otherwise.
I'm seeing Ariel Liu on this T line for Koda, another woman matching player, played for the TC women's team that was at WJUC this summer as well. Looking forward to seeing the grit and intensity from Ariel.
When Duguay playing a little bit of pass to try and get their horizontal offense moving. Duguay goes up the line, a deadly cut against the horizontal offense. Has an open Bellemare. And he flips that to Bellefeuille. And a poach block by number 10, Ariel Liu. And she's going to take off and get rewarded for that play. But it's instead number 16, Carl Butler, who also gets involved. Liu trying to make something happen. Koda electing to take the safe choice and swing it around. Chen has space, but there's a pick call against Machado. He rifles that back. This has to come back as Duguay was impeded from following. Picks are legal in Ultimate. They're too dangerous for how fast we can get without any kind of equipment to protect you. Chen gonna sneak it through. And that's Butler who made the big grab with the goal. Great D by Ariel Liu there to open that up.
Great read by Ariel, seeing the open matching handler looking upfield for the next throw, and Ariel being able to read that and put a hand in the cookie jar.
Another break for Koda. Breaks are 2-1. Score 4-2. Depending on how you like to assess scores, there you go. Quebec teams always do this thing, and I love it. This could be a timeout, or it might not be. And what they always do is they meet at the brick. They can get water, they can talk, they can hear the line call, after which everybody disperses. But every single time they hustle to the brick, you think it's simple, And it actually takes crazy discipline and mental focus to keep yourself positive and together with your team to get out there to your coach every time to do that stuff. And when you only have 60 seconds to signal offensive readiness between pulls, makes a massive difference for your line calling and organization.
Absolutely. Quest présentement en offense. Score est 4-2 et on va voir pour ceux qui regardent de la ville de Québec. On va voir si Québec Quest sont capables de revenir dans ce match puis avec leur O-line ici.
That's right. Centers that to Duguay. Belmar looking for options. Finds Duguay. Duguay's going to put that out to space. And taken well by number 77, Guillaume Tremblay. Still able to see that as our umbrella falls on top of us.
Et c'est complété pour Quest. I love the timing of going up at the highest point to make that grab. That is a fantastic read by Quest.
Good efficient O point. You know, you just went down a break. You kind of needed something to get back on track. You're going to score in 4 throws, getting in the hands of Duguay. He was in power position, an easy flick huck for him.
I love these points in a games, Clay, where you're down by 1, and as a coach and as a team, you're like, all we need is 1 more. We just need 1 more. Get back into this game.
1 more. So, not on serve, though. Koda has taken that break lead. And it's starting to get hot here. Teams have all done a good job to keep their water around. We've got dugouts and a lot of shade via the stands and kind of dugouts behind us on the other half here where they can get shade. Seeing lots of shade tents kicking around. Teams can rent shade tents from the tournament, actually. When I say rent, I mean sign up to be provided with one so everybody can stay healthy. This pull lands in the middle. It's going to get centered to Stones. He gets it around to Harrison. Decides not to chuck. And instead finds the under to Madeline Yee, almost, who followed that as far as she could, but too much of a lead on that pass for her to catch up.
Koda running a set play to the break side there to Jesse Harrison, trying to get to disc on the break side of the field as much as possible. Unfortunately, it just resulted in a turn.
Bolyach takes a shot immediately. He's got the big receiver, Tourgeron, who is able to muscle his way into the right position. He's going to flip the dad pass to Louis-Philippe Mercier for a quick break from Quest that ties the game, and we are back on serve.
Mathis Turgeon-Roy avec le box out et la belle lecture du frisbee. He's able to read that disc really well and then just pop it up for the break. Mathis, another kid that I coached on University of Ottawa. He is a gold medalist and a great defender.
Have you reached the stage in your coaching yet? And okay. You know what? I already know what you're going to say. But have you reached the stage in your coaching where someone comes up to you and you're like, hey, man, we're friends. And they're like, yeah, you coach me. And you're like, nah, right. Because you have done so much coaching in all these different aspects. And now what you're going to say is, no, Clay, I remember every single one of them.
Well, you know what, Clay? I think I remember every single one.
Yeah, bang. All right.
Well, you know, it's a blessing to. This game is addicting. This is just absolutely super fun game, and we just can't get enough of it, right?
All right. Quest with a lot of energy right now. They're fired up after that goal.
Huge momentum swing for tying this game up.
Yeah. Lynette with the pull. As there's 4 women matching players on the field, she has to be the one, or one of the female matching players has to pull, that is. Miller gets that to Harrison, and Harrison takes a shot. And with a beat on that, Gabrielle Boutin had it all the way, and she takes off deep. And then her teammates let her know, actually, chill. You maxed that out of bounds.
Huge break chance for Quest.
Quest favoring this horizontal offense. That is to say 3 handlers and 4 cutters in different positions lined up in horizontal lines across the field. They'll start with the handler slash across. Instead, elect to go to the break side. Bergeron Roy is going to try and put it up high for 2-7. Durand. And he's going to put that out to space. It is floating. And the big man, Louis-Philippe Mercier, has the read. And from his knee, gets it to Bergeron Roy. You see the head top signal. His team psyched for him as he makes that big grab. His defender was hot on his heels, but the big 1-2 just put himself in the right position to make that grab. And it is legal to throw from your knee like that as you're getting up. Technically, your pivot is just 1 point on the ground that's not moving. So a legal throw to punch it in. 4 throws on offense to get another break. And Koda calls a timeout.
I think that's a good timeout. That's one of those, stop the bleeding kind of timeouts, where you were up for a couple of points. You just saw Quest on this break train, and you want to just recompose themselves. You don't want the momentum to carry forward. So a good reset for Koda.
And Koda's shot on that turnover. I liked Harrison taking that shot to Madeline Yee, but it was just a little underthrown. Again, though, it was that OI right-handed flick. That is to say, that throw, the left edge of the disc, the side facing us from your camera perspective, dipped down. The edge facing away dipped up. The wind got underneath it and just got it to kind of change its line. Couldn't laser it out in front. It floated, which gave Quest the chance to get under that. Boutin with the great read.
Looks like Koda making a couple of changes to the line coming on offense right now. Especially after a couple of long points, if your O-line or one line has been on for quite some time. Obviously good to make some personnel changes, maybe just change up the legs, get fresh legs out there, change up the offensive tactical scheme of some sort.
Yeah, noticing more and more coaches making sort of, or captains or coaches either, kind of making reads on their team's emotional, mental, physical state on, is this the sort of thing where, hey, no, our O-line's fine. They're just having a little bit of bad luck. We're going to keep them out there. Or are we going to change it up and say, no, we do need to try something different. Very difficult as that shot caller to know what is the best thing to do in the moment. Experienced players, though, can usually suss out the best thing. So we'll see if this rotation pays off. 4 male points. So a male Mexican player will pull.
You can hear the Quest sideline getting loud. That is absolutely what I would be doing is, hey, you just got a couple of points in a row. You keep that energy going.
Stones flips it to Machado. He's got players taking off deep. Machado's going to put it. Boutin in the area. But with the line all day, Brady Chen had a great read on that. Like to see Boutin getting in there. I mean, putting pressure on any catch always makes the offense adjust. So even though that wasn't Boutin's check, getting herself involved was, you like to see that sort of hustle from your team. The score 5-5. Quest still up 1 break.
Very cool, calm, and collected pull play from Koda. Coming out of that timeout, they knew exactly what they wanted to run, and it worked to perfection.
So looking at this D-line, this is kind of, well, I don't know. Is this a change up? Because we had those players crossing over, I should say, excuse me. But, Machado back out there, Chen back out there on D. Stones back out there.
Couple of mainstays, especially if that O point didn't last too long. I'm definitely the type of player that if I played a short O point and I'm normally on a D line, I would absolutely love to get back out there, get the pull going, and I still got legs, still got time to run.
Pardon me, Stones is not out there. I was looking at Ariel, who made a big defensive play earlier. Aerial view. I'll get it. Big O-line cheer from Quest. This pull is going to hang. Gives Koda time to get down there, but doesn't land very far. So an okay position for Quest. Belfeuille looking for options. He's going to huck at stall 7, and that's going to sail out of bounds. Kind of a late huck to look at the cutters at stall 7.
Quest starting out with a handler movement to begin their flow, and perhaps just getting in the way of a lot of Koda defenders surrounding those handlers. So that stall count went up all the way to 7+ and probably forced that shot.
When Acuna hustles to the line before she gets timed out. Goes up the line to Machado. He keeps his feet in. He's in power position and cuts. Chen in the area. Has the height advantage. Will he have the read? He will. He's not in, though. Our observers do make active in and out calls, and it was marked out of bounds. And then there's a pick. This call brought to you by hand signals. Use them. Okay, it was a pick. Thank you. Yeah. Sideline support here from Beaulieu. Thank you, dude. And so it was a pick called. Chen with the disc. Immediately resets. Butler has Machado, who broke the ankles of his check, and then he has to get the position to make the play. Score for Koda.
Great focus.
That's a break.
Machado. Great focus to ensure that that disc doesn't get away from him. Again, that wind seeing the bottom of that frisbee on that throw, that forehand throw. So great focus in reading that.
So that was a break, which means we're back on serve.
Oh, yeah.
0-0. West on offense, of course not 0-0, but these teams so far, everything is holding as they work to get those breaks back. We're 27 minutes into the game. There is a half cap at 45 minutes. We'll talk about that if it gets there. I think this is going to be half at 8, except Quest just called the timeout.
Just like
no,
we
they
predicted,
didn't. They're
Clay,
doing
we're
their
in a
Quebec
ball
thing.
game.
I'm sorry, what's that?
No, just like we predicted, we're in a ball game. You know,
Yeah.
I predicted a tight game. I predicted something that looks similar to this, where it's going to be tight scores throughout the first half, and this is what we came here for.
So it's interesting. Koda doesn't have a coach. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 captains and 2 spirit captains. So this is a team where you've got player captains and no coach. Can be a lot of work, but they're looking pretty solid as a group, keeping it together. Burnett moves that to Duguay. So Nets will get it back. Goes up the middle. Number 10, Vivian Portier. Lido didn't like the look, but eventually finds a receiver in Tremblay. Duguay with the dish now. That feed from Bellefeuille. Pick called as the wide open. Vivian Faultier was there. They'll discuss whether or not Faultier would have got the disc anyway.
Also discussing the stall count, I believe, once the pick was called.
All right, working it out. Observer Dom out there. Getting everybody where they should be.
Also, the observers redirecting the play and letting the players know that when the pick is called, player returns to the spot of when the pick occurred, and then that player that was on defense gets to catch up at that spot.
Always get that wrong. Duguay. Looking for options. He'll go around to Frenette. Frenette goes for the break, and Bellefeuille, athletic grab there for the throw that was kind of off the line of his cut. Duguay enters it from that. Good position here in end zone. Who's available? She has the break shot and takes it to Duguay. That's a hold for Quest. The score 6-6.
Gros point pour Quest, et pour tous ceux qui ne savent pas, les capitaines Spirit de Quest, on a Alexandre Beaulieu, capitaine, Jeanne Frenette, capitaine. Pour le capitaine Spirit, nous avons aussi Gabriel Boutin en tant que, pour garder l'esprit du jeu. Quebec City tying up this game right now.
West has been around for quite a while. They had some breaks in their history. They first hit the provincial mix scene in 2013. They have a cool credence.
I love it.
Yeah, adore. Amour, intégrité, discipline, ouverture d'esprit, et résilience, respect, et entraide. Success is not measured by standings or results, but by continuous improvement aimed at becoming 1% better every day. That 1% better every day,
Absolutely.
definitely something you should look into, everybody. A great way to improve incrementally, but always improving.
I love when teams have that. They create their sort of mission statement. They create a sort of a pillar for their season, for their team. Very important for team identity.
Drury looking for options. Harrison's there to relieve any pressure, wide open. He has Alex Bedley, and we see some biceps. So there's a pick. And that will go back to Harrison. Bedley was very open. And usually at this level, when you see someone that open and weren't any switches called or any poaching, it's probably a pick. We'll go back to Harrison at stall 5. He goes for the immediate swing to Stones. Bedley wants the around, but it's not there. Stones will stick with Harrison. He tries the inside flick, but it has the wrong edge on the OI, gets picked up from the wind and sails out of bounds right at our table.
Opportunité de bris pour Quest.
Bald with the disc. Looks upfield, fakes backhand, doesn't like it, still looking downfield and is going to huck. The big receiver, Louis-Philippe Mercier, had 2 defenders on his back in Stones and Harrison, and there's nothing they could do as he just posts up. You can't teach tall.
That kind of looked like an and one play in basketball. A little bit of contact. You had 2 Koda defenders in there, but super confident making that play and getting up.
So that's a break for Quest. And I've heard timeout Quest. Dom using his pipes. Observer Zeta here, right here to help us. I said Sandra earlier by mistake, but it's Dom and Zeta doing this game for us. And,
I love this timeout by Quest because it is right before half. This is your chance. Well, one, you're going to lose your timeouts anyways once the first half is done. So you might as well use one to, talk about a strategy, try to get to halftime. If you can score on a team to get to half, you're going to have that team, your opponents, go to their benches thinking about, wow, we just got scored on, it's halftime, so I got to dwell on it for 7 minutes.
Yeah. And I mean, if Quest gets this, they get that nice money mint break, as Kevin Underhill would say, trained me.
Oh, yeah.
To both commentate and understand the organic break. That is, you started the game on D, but if you can get this goal right now, you get the disc right back on offense.
I love this point, too, because this is a great opportunity, Clay, to work on some crossovers. So if you have players on the O-line that cross over to defense and you want them to have chemistry throughout the tournament, this is a great opportunity to practice those lines, especially in pool play where, even if you lose, you're kind of still in it. So it's really important to get those power lines in.
This is how a championship coach thinks 3 steps ahead, everybody. He's thinking about the whole tournament, just in one point of the second game of how to gain some chemistry.
Opportunité maintenant pour Quest pour chercher la demi. Ouais. Et c'est maintenant une opportunité aussi d'essayer des différents looks, de voir si on peut avoir d'autres joueurs sur la ligne défensive qui normalement ils jouent sur la ligne offensive. Donc, on va voir qu'est-ce qui va se passer ici.
Although we don't really see much of a rotation, do we? There's a few players that have come on, but we're getting some double shifting from players here. That's Mercier with the pull, the big one. Stones will field it and flip it to Machado. Takes the back end. He's got Harrison coming across wide open, but Stones is also poached. So she'll get the reset, get it over to Harrison. Machado open on the around. Strikers take off. Machado throws. And an unfortunate and common scenario in mixed ultimate.
Seems to be lots of contact on that play.
Yeah, it's hard to say, when you go back and look at all the decisions made on a bang-bang play, what everyone's doing. But we see I mean, if you've been around mixed ultimate long enough, as I have, this is always going to happen at a tournament. And everybody, though, looks okay, which is ideal.
This is funny because, they can all get up, but,
Nah, let's just, yeah, just, relax. You see,
just relax on the turf, Matis. All
yeah,
good.
yeah. Can someone get Matisse like a drink or something?
Yeah,
Like, he
do we
just
have
looks
some in the back?
very comfortable. Yeah, but, okay, so I think everybody's agreeing. Nope. I'm seeing some hand signals from Dom. That he's nothing. Okay, it's high spirit, good discussion. Turnover signaled by Miller. That's some really high spirit. You're glad everyone's safe, but also usually scenarios like that don't work themselves out in such a positive manner.
And this is what Quest wanted. They wanted to get the turn and see if they can get half right now. Quest with the disc.
Durand moves that around to the poached open side. That pass is too low. Under pressure, Harrison came in to put some pressure on that. It'll be Stones who picks up. He's looking to Ken in the front, but elects to go to Harrison. Machado comes from second in the stack as the reset and bobbles it with his hands. And Harrison late on the switch. That's underthrown, and immediately seeing that frustration from Mercier. He called that shot, and Koda got a little confused, and it was going to work, but then a rushed throw. Once again, the edge of the disc kind of thrown in a way that the wind was just going to take over. Harrison now.
Koda's been running a lot of this vertical stack with the play coming in from the top of the stack, and you have your continue from the back, so that number 5 player either coming down or striking deep.
Ken thought he was wide open, but there was someone dropping off of the stack to take him, so Koda does not elect to throw. Out to Machado. Machado calls for Keegan, but Miller did not know he should be going deep there, so he comes back into the stack. Stones comes across. Harrison throws a light throw for an easy completion. Under with some speed is Mandy Lai to get involved and get some production upfield for Koda. Now they move it around to the break side. Harrison is open. Stones fakes and then hits him. Harrison has Machado on the inside. Chen coming across, but it's caught by, caught by Mandy Lai. So, okay, I'm going to talk about this. First, let's do the score. 7-7, half will be taken at 8. Now, this happened in the junior phase of our tournament twice in 2 different games. It happened in our 5th place semifinal between your hometown, Wicked, and Team Toba in the women's division. And it also happened in the women's division when it was Canyon versus Toba. That's how they got knocked down. Was a layout in the end zone, digging the disc just early enough that it didn't hit the ground. But the other team kind of thought, oh, that might have been down. The observer points with both hands down into the end zone. That doesn't indicate a completion. And it seemed to me that the Quest players saw the observer say in the end zone and assumed it was a catch. All that means is that the offense is indicating that they have possession and they happen to be in the end zone. That's what that signal means, because observers don't make active up-down calls. So then when you see their hands pointing down, before they bring their thumbs up to their shoulders, they're waiting to see if there's any calls. And as they look around, if no one is saying down, they're like, well, then I guess it's up.
Absolutely.
Because they don't make that call. And we kind of saw instances where teams learned that after the fact and got burned on the opportunity to have a discussion. And both in the cases in the juniors, there's been lots of speculation around about what was what in both instances. And I'm certainly not getting into that right now, but definitely a missed opportunity for teams to discuss up or down. So
also great timeout from Koda here. Again, it's 7-7. They're trying to do the same thing here. Try to get to half. And again, if you can get the team thinking about it at halftime that they just got scored on, you're going to get some momentum for that second half.
So Quest up 4 breaks to 3. I mean, Koda could get this break and then we'd be on serve and we'd be essentially starting the game over again. Except the teams would know something about each other and be a little tired.
I think I see Stones crossing over from the O line onto this D line here.
Yeah. Machado pulled. He's staying on. Pick called immediately. I don't know where. Gay. Oh, okay. So it is Machado saying he pick, and as number 10, I believe it was number 10, Vivian Poitier went up the line. Machado had to stop. Now, in this instance, I would think Duguay gets to keep it, and Machado would just like to get closer on the mark. Duguay saying, no, I don't think so. Why that would be an advantage for Duguay is he's in a great position to send one here.
And probably what Machado is trying to explain here is that, oh, I could have had an opportunity to maybe make a defensive play. And so he's arguing maybe the dish should go back. Perhaps that's the discussion they're having with the observer now.
So Zita right there to help us resolve things. And we're waiting. And we're waiting. Typically, well, the teams are encouraged to try and keep this under 45 seconds.
Sometimes they get longer than that.
Yeah. But, you know, they're keeping it longer for you fans. They know how much you love this. Okay, it's in on one. Everybody is staying exactly where they are. And we're in. We pass to a very fast 37 Belmar, excuse me, but the disc moves itself around to Duguay after some kind of close calls. And another pick call here. Stone's very sure about her pick call here against Lynette. So
similar situation actually against Stones, saying that could have had an opportunity to perhaps make a play on the Frisbee, and so that's part of that discussion, I believe, with the observer.
I think Stone's saying I could have at least had some sort of line too, right? But we're just trying to be quiet here and listen in. River Dom coming in. Dominic Saint-Jacques is first language is French, I believe. At the very least, he speaks French most of the time, so he's in there to help translate or add some specific translations that make this more simple.
And if your quest right now, composure is very important in front of your end zone. You know, you have the disc anyways in possession. If you stay cool, calm, and collected, you can punch it in and get right to halftime.
So it is a pick. Yeah, so at the moment of the pick, we hear our team in orange say, so Lynette will have to come back to where she was at the pick. Yeah, so Stones is just like, I should have had a cleaner line. And this makes sense. Not right on her check, but not impeded to follow her. Duguay will go around to Bellefeuille. He puts that out to space. A little bit of confusion, but Duguay is there to get it. And there's a foul by Stones there. No contest immediately. She kind of ran past Duguay and hit his arm on the follow through. She could not see him. So just her back hit his arm. She signals no contest and high fives Duguay right away. Duguay looking for options, has an ISO in front of the end zone, but elected to go for the reset. They move it around to Frenette. She takes the inside shot, and a lucky collection by Bellefeuille, who stayed in the play, as that went through two possibly intended receivers, and he cleaned it up.
Et c'est Quest qui prend la demi maintenant, une fiche de 8-7 présentement dans la joute. Et un gros momentum pour eux. Et en fait, il était pas mal down la plupart de cette game maintenant. Et this is exactly what they wanted.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, up one break with 4-3, so they're in a better position than being on serve otherwise. We're going to pop off here for a second, run some ads, but also you can expect to see some halftime interviews conducted by Habib. So you can stay with us for those, or you can come back in 7 minutes when the second half starts and the game resumes. Thank you.
OK, on est ici avec Alexandre Beaulieu. Nous avons Quest contre Koda à mi-temps présentement. Alexandre Beaulieu, c'est vraiment ça que vous voulez durant le mi-temps, c'est de finir le point, puis avoir un peu de momentum pour la deuxième demi. Est-ce que tu peux me raconter un peu qu'est-ce qui s'est passé en tant que vos stratégies défensives?
En ce moment, c'est une nouvelle équipe. On les a jamais pognés dans la saison. C'est vraiment de la découverte, voir comment ils jouent, puis après ça, réussir à s'adapter. En ce moment, je trouve qu'ils ont un excellent jeu long. Fait que ça va être de réussir à plus le contenir, soit venir avec plus de flat mark, plus de last back. Je pense que ça va vraiment être la clé du succès pour notre défensive dans la deuxième mi-temps.
Super, super. Vous étiez down 4-2 au début du match et est-ce que vous sentez le vent plus sur le terrain? On a vu que le vent commence à jouer un peu plus un rôle sur l'angle des disques, sur un peu des lancers. Est-ce qu'il y a des ajustements que vous avez faits en offensif en tant que de vraiment contourner le vent?
Non, je pense qu'on est habitué dans notre saison à Québec d'avoir plus de vent que ça. Fait que je pense que c'est quelque chose qu'on maîtrise quand même déjà bien. Je pense que comparativement aussi junior les 3 derniers jours, il y a un peu plus de vent. Fait que oui, c'est quelque chose qu'on garde en tête, mais je pense qu'on le maîtrise super bien en ce moment.
Parfait, parfait. Et pour la deuxième demi, quelle sorte de speech est-ce que Coach Will Landry aimerait, ou Coach Chloé Laflamme aimerait peut-être présenter en tant que morale, en tant que message? Est-ce que tu peux peut-être deviner?
On veut continuer à travailler fort en offense. Le disque est précieux. On garde ça simple. Puis en défensive, on travaille de toutes nos jambes. C'est la dernière game de la journée. On laisse tout sur le terrain.
Parfait, ça, c'est exactement ce qu'on veut entendre. Nous avons une grosse demi qui s'en vient, donc stay tuned pour ça. Et merci beaucoup, Alexandre Beaulieu.
Merci beaucoup.
All right, we have a halftime interview here with Koda. I'm here with number 53, Keegan Miller. He's got the bleach hair going on right now. I had to show it off for the camera. Tell me about this. I know that Quest took half right now, but what's going on right now within Koda's huddle? What are we thinking about for the second half?
Do a quick plug. Shout out to Honey and Comb, hairdresser in Mississauga. Did
Let's
a great
go.
job here. But no, to focus back on the game. You know, all season we've been a second half team. So this is not an unfamiliar position for this team. We often like to joke that that's exactly where we want to be. But all things aside, this is a team that knows that they can come back in the second half. So really credit to Quest. They absolutely played a great half. But I like where we're at. There's been a lot of over the tops. A lot of the things that we watched a lot of No Borders film, the stuff that we saw on tape is pretty well played out. So I like where we're at. I don't think there's a lot of adjustments, but just got to come down with a few more of those plays.
Absolutely, and noticing also you have a couple of horizontal set plays that have been coming out in your pole plays, and also some really crisp handler movement, right? Especially between the women and open matching players. Is that something you practice all season? Is that sort of your team identity?
Absolutely. I think that's been core to who we've been over the years. That sort of dominator flow. We found that the switching and rolling that teams do in both force middle sets and just handler junks to sort of slow that down in single gender play just doesn't work as well in the mixed division. So we feel very confident in those looks, and that's where we're the happiest. So absolutely, I think that's not to give the book away, but feel free to play around with that. Anyone put the ladies in position to succeed.
Absolutely, we're absolutely looking forward for this second half. This game is, as predicted, a tight match. Everyone is fired up and ready to play. So good luck. Can't wait to see what happens.
Thanks so much, Habib. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
And we're back with some second half action here at the Canadian Ultimate Championships 2026 senior phase of the tournament. Our first mixed live stream, Koda from Kitchener, Waterloo, Guelph, Cambridge.
Oh, that was
in
fast.
the dark green, I tried. And Quest from Quebec City in the light. Quest up a break in this game. The score 8-7 though, so it's tight. Clay Howlett and Habib Atala here to bring you the game. And we're off.
Great women matching pull here.
A big one, yeah. Thick pull. From that, we'll move that to Duguay, the shooter and anchor for this team. But Bonette's been very active. And her pass just dug out of the ground there by a number 37, Etienne Belmar. Goes over to Bellefeuille to Duguay. Duguay was looking for a shot. Instead, he's going to take the big backhand around floater. What a dot. Etienne Belmar. That was, wow.
That was a beautiful step up by Duguay. Full extension backhand. Almost went a little bit out of bounds almost, and then came back inside the field into the red zone for the score.
But the most beautiful thing about that point was the backflip. Not the part where he lifted up his shirt. But anyway, that was amazing. A great way to start the second half. I mean, Quest was in that advantage, as you and I were talking about before the half. That is exactly where Quest wanted to be. They got the goal to go into half, and then they got to start on offense as they started the game on D. So to quickly get that hold and take a 2-point lead is a big deal. Could have been a very different sense of momentum had Koda taken that break, put the game back on serve.
Want to give a shout out to any player that is laying out on turf. It is super difficult. Being able to get their hands underneath the discs and just sliding through. We saw it, all week in the junior division. Players getting taped up just so that they can survive all the turf layouts.
Koda's mantra for this tournament and as a team, job's not done. They're trying to, their stretch goal is trying to make top 5, but the tournament goal is to make top 8, where they've been knocking on that door for some time now. Centered to Miller. Goes around to Stones. She played at Womack with Big Cat and Kittens. They did pretty well. Harrison flips this over to Bedley. Back to Stones. Has a wide open receiver. The wheels on that undercut. Has to reset it, but it's Ioannidis taking off again. He's going to try and punch it to Stones, and a tightly covered reset. Stones calls a foul on that against Daphne Labbé, and we'll see why. Hard to tell from here as the players' backs were to us and if there was any hands or pushing or whatever, but Habib, what do you think?
From what I can see, I think Stones is most likely saying that there was contact during the upline cut and therefore was not able to actually make a play on the disc other than to just bid into the space. So this is what the discussion is looking to be had here.
Stones is batting 1,000 on her foul call explanation so far. So every time she's called a foul and there's been discussion, she was right, but this one is contested. So it'll go back to Bedley. Nope, excuse me. That was Krista Ioannidis with the throw.
Another thing to remember when there are observers in a game, you don't actually have to go to the observer. You know, if players are happy just contesting it and bringing it back, that is absolutely a possibility.
Well, that'll be a violation. Players moving before the disc was tapped in. So Bedley will go back. A little bit of a false start. He'll go around to him, and he reels that in. It was a little tight, but he'll get it over to Stones. Around to Harrison. Harrison looking for some options. Very chilly with the disc. Got hand block late, but Madeline Yee able to track that disc that was popped up. Great heads up play by Yee. Stones now on the doorstep, and Bedley makes the play. And I must say, it was a close defensive play by Mercier. He probably would have had it if he laid out, but he didn't, which is great, because had he, it would have been dangerous and a definite yellow card. So a hold for Koda brings the score to 9-8.
I love Koda for sticking to the play. Once there was that hand block on the mark, from the mark, pardon me, and it floated up in the air, and great read to be able to stick with it. It was right at the sideline to make that grab, so way to keep the disc alive.
Yeah. The hand block, though, was like Jedi. Like, that was in the air and just on the hair trigger.
There's a little bit go-go gadget there.
Yeah, that was cool. So, still a sports match. West leading by 1 break. Anybody's game right now. Time 2:58, so we're 58 minutes into this time slot. Soft cap will come in at 75 minutes. That would be 3:15.
Koda going in with the wind right now, slight downwind for them, so this could be an advantage as a defensive line when you're coming down full force, and Quest is going to have to work hard on their snaps and their throws to get this disc back to their defending end zone.
Definitely an instance where it could be a turning point in the game. But these are those points you look at for your team or as a coach as kind of the crucial ones to gain an advantage in the narrative. Duguay. He floats that out to lots of space to Bellefeuille, who will send it right back as Duguay takes off. And that gets over to Godin. Duguay puts that out to space. It's Bellemare looking for the around. It's not there. Instead, he goes to Duguay. Around the Fenette. He wants out space to Duguay on the mismatch, but he feels like number 25, Guanacuña, pushed him. So, pushed him in the back and he called the foul. I'm not too sure. But we'll find out.
So for those who don't know, if players are running towards a space together, using the hands or using a part of your body to create separation or to create space or to win a space, not allowed in the game of Ultimate. So perhaps Duguay expressing that, oh yeah, you got your hands on me, you extended, and while I was trying to make a play on that disc.
It's my worst habit, is using arms to impede people. Kind of a natural feeling, but throwing the arm up like that, you got to keep it down. Observer ruling here that it's a contest, as they were unable to really assess who's at fault in this case. So it'll go back to Fenette. Seeing the mismatch here. This happens a mix sometimes, so it's Carl Butler on the mark. And Cunha on Duguay. When that goes for the around, and using his superior length there is Butler, who's going to go deep, but Duguay makes up the distance to get back on the match, and with some pressure forces Butler to go back up early. So we're seeing some team defense in both sides here. Good, employment of some mixed strategy.
Deuxième chance pour Quest. En avance maintenant.
Duguay's pass low, but gets it to Belfeuille. Now looks to Duguay, but doesn't like it. He is going to go for it. Does Duguay have the read on it? Lays out. Seemed like Duguay had stopped his strike, not expecting that to go up so late. Butler's going to go to Machado. Machado superior read. The most awkward reception ever, but it's okay. He's fine. Resets to Cunha, wants it back. They get into a give-go. Butler comes in, tries to jump it in, and bobbles it. Oh, no. Gotta catch it first, everybody.
Oh, you hear when that happens, and I feel like I did that in my career once for sure. Trying to think about getting it in the end zone and scoring, but then having to also think about the catch as well.
I mean, that I don't want to dump on Butler too much for that one, because that is a very common thing to do.
Absolutely.
Because he was jumping or not, he dropped it. He dropped it, and that's too bad for him. But was it because he was jumping? Well, we've seen players drop it with firm, feet planted on the ground.
Oh,
so
100%.
yeah, but the jump does add that extra thing to think about, and you could tell he certainly was lining it up. Maybe the combination of things causing the error. Timeout called by Quest.
Yeah. If you're Quest right now, you're probably thinking about, hey, do we stay in our vertical set that we've been pretty much running this entire O point? Do we change a little bit of the look? If you're Koda, do we stay in match? Do we get a poachy look? Do we set up a zone? What is this defensive point going to look like for Koda? Looking forward to seeing it.
The biggest adjustment I'd want to see is change your mindset around Duguay getting the disc. I would be okay with him getting resets and throwing from a static position, even if it's a huck. You've got to get him out of power position. Every time Duguay gets it in power position, it's a shot. Usually it's great. Or he's getting big resets even just up the line if he doesn't throw it. But holding him to going up the line and allowing the lateral reset to happen, a strategy that Ignite employed against Dino in the junior final that worked very, very well.
I heard that went pretty well.
It went pretty well. They were running this weird mystery zone called the randomizer. Still haven't learned what it is. I'm going to bug you about that. From that, in power position, elects not to huck. He goes for the around.
Nice grab.
Hits the dirt, and he's going to throw to Duguay. Duguay not with the read this time as it sailed over. Seemed to post up on Butler before he was in a position to catch it. Machado turns on the Jets to get the under from the stack. Cunha takes off. Machado fakes the huck. It's not there. They do have Chen. Brady Chen over to Cunha. Calling for it is Butler. And he puts that out in front to Yang. But there's a travel call. I don't know what's going to happen here. There's a school of thought and kind of a wrinkle in the rules that it's not.
Koda's trying to express right now that, it didn't affect the play. It's just momentum. It was an open side throw. So definitely that's part of the discussion that they're having now.
But on the flip side, if you're Duguay, you're just saying any travel that you're throwing a goal is an advantage. So
100%.
Observer rules that it did not affect anything from their perspective and in his goal. So that is a wrinkle in the travel rule, is that if it's a travel that is like no one's in the area, it's a lift up the foot, it wouldn't have affected the throw. They're trying to get rid of, well, I believe the rule tries to get rid of that ticky-tacky thing, but I understand the flip side of like, well, if you move your feet so you can make a solid throw into the end zone for a goal, I mean, shouldn't it matter? So it's difficult.
Especially on that play too, the player with the disc in their hands trying to stop their momentum actively in order to make that throw.
Yeah.
Versus somebody maybe running and getting an extra couple of steps, or not letting the mark actually being able to get there. So Good for Koda for punching that in.
And that's a break for Koda. So we are now back on serve. This is how the game started. The sides of the field were flipped, but
so far all the predictions working out here.
This would be a big win for Koda if they pull it off, as Quest is first in the pool, ranked quite high in the tournament. I believe they're coming in as the first seed, as it was a Quebec team, Odyssey, that won last year. They are currently at the World Ultimate Club Championships in Limerick, Ireland. So the top team out of Quebec, they are in that top bid for Quebec, that top seed, and Quest took it.
I'm seeing a slightly different line here for Quest, electing to maybe get some fresh legs and change things up a bit.
Bellefeuille around to Frenette. She's looking for options. No one available right away. She's going to elect to huck it. And in the area was Miller, but there was contact. And the players agree it was incidental. Good spirit by Tremblay, as I also had the same read. Miller made the play first, and the contact came after. Around to Carreri. Miller goes to the middle. It's going to sail over everybody, and Cunha is able to bring it down just out of the reach of Frenette. And now the win. Just up with Koda as it goes over the head of Butler. Nope. Bond.
That wind right now really playing a role right now. Changing a lot of the angles, and especially as soon as it pops up, making it hard to read. It's hanging in the air quite a bit.
Pick called. What a weird call for a vertical. Sorry, I kid. But what happened there, the vertical stack a little too tight, so pick calls aplenty. And if you've played a lot of vertical, you know as soon as you do that, you're probably going to have a pick called against you. So now finds Frenette off the front. He has the open side. Plido, and defensive play there made by Noah Jin.
Lots of pressure on the sideline. These are very tight windows that they're having to throw to. Quest getting caught up in that, but they're on defense right now. They're going to try to get a block.
And moves that to Carreri. Cunha needs something. And it's Mandy Lai coming in to rescue. He flips that to Miller. And there's a pick called. And it seems like we have a quick resolution. Oh, violation, false start. Brewery apologizing. Miller. Gonna go upfield to Lai. She's got some wheels. Carreri wide open. Does he keep it in? He does. Takes up line. He'll go up to Cunha. Koda continuing to get it up line here. And unfortunately for Koda, Noah Jin misreads the sideline.
Seeing the double blue line.
Yeah, we've got to get back line on this side. That's also colored blue. In a perfect world, it would be a different color. World's not perfect, people. Bellefeuille gets it to Bellemare. And I think the argument here from Olieu is going to be I had clapped on that. You know, I think, from my view, Carl Butler has a case here. I don't know if Olieu totally had firmed up his grip on that disc when Butler made contact. Your perspective, Habib?
Well, I think the observer's ruling it was a foul. From our angle, it definitely looked like it was a bottled disc, but definitely could have been some contact beforehand, and I think that's what perhaps the observer saw on that play. I think Koda right now is running a force middle of some sort. I saw them forcing towards the sideline and then switching their marks once the disc crosses back to the middle.
So a little bit of risky play there, but Quest comes up with it and moves it to Bellefeuille. Got some open players, but goes for the safe choice to Beaulieu. Fournette calls for it out to space and pitches that in to Belmar. So a hold for Quest. The score now 10-9. Soft cap. There is a soft cap in this tournament. We had it wrong on our earlier stream. Will come on at 3:15. The time 3:11. Unless the next point is a very efficient O point, I expect soft cap will come on after. And when we hear the horn, we'll tell you what that means for the game. This certainly will not be a game to 15. So we'll see.
So Koda getting into some different defensive tactics. They were trying to change up the way they mark so that hopefully they force Quest to throw longer throws that take up more than 15, 20 yards. I believe they even almost had a chance on that with the play in the middle of the field. Quest still came down with it. We're able to dribble and finish the job.
I really like FM. Messes with teams. The, we're used to looking as throwers, you're used to looking for an open side, someone getting open on the open side or being very open on the break side. But suddenly when there's always bodies in front of you, no matter what the force is on the open side, there's always someone in the way. You have to have a good break game or a good reset game to get going.
And for those who liked advanced stats, there are some advanced stats that apparently show the turnover percentages of a player who pivots once, who pivots twice, or has to pivot 3 times. It just keeps on climbing.
Where would I find these stats?
You know what?
No, but really, I'm curious. Not trying to be facetious. I want to know.
You know what? A lot of players or coaches or captains use apps like Stato.
Oh, that's right.
For Ultimate, on their iPads and everything, and able to see those true advanced stats, even on a Google Excel or a Google Sheet. Sorry, should have said Microsoft Excel.
Cariri. We'll move that back to Stone. So far, it's been an all-handler game for Koda this point. Their vertical stack a little deep. They're fine with it, though. Stone says, get out of the way, guys, as she'll flip that back to McCreary. So a little disorganization from the stack. Ionitis off the back, showing some wheedles. And McCreary making a great play to keep it up in bounds. Flips that to Reed. Reed on the sideline, needs a reset. Goes with the inside flick to Harrison. A dot to get that reset over to the break side. Harrison is all alone. So is Stones in the end zone. Goal. 10-10. And no horn that point. So that was efficient. 2-minute point.
And what a grab with the disc trailing downwards and Koda player having to come down and go kind of like a barrel roll to sort of keep that disc alive. And the success of getting it off the sideline, getting it to the side where the wind is maybe pushing less, and finding Stones in the end to punch it in.
Yeah. McCreary seemingly okay. No evidence of turf burn.
I don't know if you see this, Clay. I've been seeing this a lot in the junior division, and while we teach it or not, I'm seeing a lot of that squat inside flick where the player just comes down into a little squat rather than stepping out fully. I don't know if you've been seeing that more and more.
Okay, so fun fact. Earlier on the stream, we were watching the Hucklebears from Victoria, and their coach, Colby Smith, is in fact, by definition, a legend, because he is old enough. He's 60 years old, still plays Ultimate, played on the Immortals.
Love it.
That's with legend status, because that's what comes after Great Grandmasters. And we call it the Colby Special. He has been throwing that throw for 20 years, and it works every time. A squat flick on the inside. Did he invent it? I'm going to give it to him. But, seeing that a lot more.
We just heard the soft cap, too.
So so we're going to talk about that after the point, because it won't apply to this one, as the clock for the pull had already started. The readiness time limit had already started. Don't quite understand what this is about. Stones yelling to Machado. No, not a pick. You're not guarding him yet. Duguay's like, yeah, come on, dude. Listen to your player. Thank you for that. Yeah. Koda, good spirit.
Good spirit from Koda.
I think Duguay was just explaining, you might have been impeded, but you're too far away. You have to be within 10 feet / 3 meters. Oh, the fair call.
Yeah, good resolution.
Duguay's going to chuck. That is far. and just a little too far for the speedy Belmar, but that was quite deep for where he was and held its edge, which meant it came to the ground quite faster than ideal. Cunha has the under to Liu. Liu finds Yang underneath. He's going to move it to the middle. Machado finds the break side to Chen. He wants it back. Chen hesitates, but then takes the shot. Heads back to Chen. Yang wants it. It's not there. Cunha's going to try and get open. Chen sticks around for the free reset as Duguay was poaching in the lane. Chen goes up the line to Machado. Yang goes up the line to Machado. And they find number 77, Mandy Lai. So this puts Koda in an extremely advantageous position. They are now in the driver's seat because our soft cap is on at a score of 11-10. This will be game to 12. If you take the highest score on the subsequent point after the horn and you add 1, the score is 11-10 for Koda. Highest score 11, add 1, 12. So game to 12. And Habib, you know, I say advantage Koda, not by much though, because they're playing defense. They're not on offense, but they are going downwind. But if Quest can tie it up, then they will have the upwind side, but then they'll be on defense. So it's just more chances for Koda, ultimately.
Absolutely. And if you're Quest right now, you have a maximum of 2 points to play.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're coming out on offense. So you got to be a little bit more tactical, composed, and just, you know, if you've been running an offense that's been working, you run the show the same way. If you're making adjustments, you make them adjustments on the fly. This is the time to do it. And if Quest scores, it's universe. So now you got to put on a powerful D line that's going to get you this back. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to ride your big players. Koda electing to go, I mean, there is some crossover, but they're keeping, you know, their D-liners out there.
And on the other side, if you're Koda, you know, worst come to worst, if you don't get this point, you could just get back on O and just walk it up the field again, right? And try to get a hold again. So two different mentalities happening in this situation here.
Looking at their line there, and that is not their quote-unquote starting D-line, so we are seeing some crossover, but are seeing some folks from that line. This would be a very big deal for Koda. The 1 seed in their pool. Unsure of how their other games went. There are 5 teams in the mixed pool. The top 3 advance. The bottom 2 are out of contention for the medaling bracket. So very important to win 3 games or more, but defeating the 1 seed would set them up in a good spot. Unsure of how they did earlier, though. That pole will sail out of bounds. Not sure where, but I think it went far enough that it has to come to the brick.
Fun fact as well, Clay, this is an opportunity to see clutch moments, right? In the last 5 to, say, 10 minutes of a game. The sideline is energetic right now. These are key moments. Who's going to come out of these big moments?
Time is not a factor because the game is so close. So this game will end at 12, period. Their hard cap won't matter. Bellefeuille has Frenette around. Belmal tries the slash cut, but he's covered well by Chen. Frenette running out of time, calls the shot deep. There'll be a foul on that throw, I bet. Ionitis can't make the play, so it's a complete pass. Duguay gets it out of the end zone, and he's just going to float that, and surviving the ground contact is number 77, Guillaume Tremblay. Universe point. Universe point alerts here on the BE Showcase field.
We're ready.
And I should take this moment to quickly shout out that this is the BE Showcase field main apparel for our staff and quite a few of the teams, and apparel sponsor of the tournament. You can go to their tent and buy some stuff. Also, big sponsor is Discraft, providing us with the game discs. Enough survived the junior tournament, as it happens.
Absolutely.
No spiking rule in the junior tournament working. That's
My favorite moment was the junior kids asking, "Wait, but is this okay? Wait, what if I do this?
Oh.
Or what if the disc touches my foot?"
Do you know my spacebar
And-
story?
I do not know your spacebar
I
story.
got nationals
time.
early in 2024 doing the same gig, and because I was there early, producer Sarah Edie asked me, could you help at one of the meetings? Go see the staff in the captain's meeting for the juniors, and they'll tell you what to do. And so Dean Wright is like, oh, okay, Clay, just come sit in the middle of the room in the chairs here. We were in like a lecture hall. And he gave me the laptop, and he's like, I need you to hit spacebar when I say next slide. And I'm like, okay, what else? He's like, that's it. So I was spacebar man. Not very fun, but 8th slide of that show, it just said no spiking, period. So ensued the 30-minute discussion of what if it's a different disc?
Yeah.
What if the other team's okay with it? What if it's our fans spiking it? What if we agree, hey, 3 spikes per game? If we spike it and the other team doesn't see it, did we ever spike it at all? But that rule is in place. I mean, some people believe it's the spirit. I mean, it's hard to say. It's certainly, though, to preserve the discs. Spiking it does ruin them.
And definitely understand it from an observer perspective. I think for them, they don't want no gray area. So if they're going to, observe the game and make rulings, making it black and white probably just makes it easier for the game to just go on rather than, oh, that one's okay, but the other 36 types, not okay.
And if you don't know what to do, then when you score, I implore everybody to go watch Hound's social media and see what they did for one of their points versus Blackfish in their
Shout out to
crossover
those
from
guys.
last year.
Shout out to those guys. Great celebrations.
This poll.
Point universe pour Quest contre Koda. Dernier point du match. Très énergétique. We were waiting for this. We actually called it out. I was expecting a super tight game, and this is exactly what we got our money's worth for. So
Machado is going to bring the disc up. We are actually on serve, which is wild. This is Koda started the game on 0, and there's a violation here. I don't think this is a turnover, but Stones brought the ball and she threw it to Machado to collect it to him. Oh, you know what? I actually don't know the rule here. Let's find out. Okay. Everything is fine.
Yeah.
We're going to follow up with exactly what happened there later. Kind of saw what it was, but not sure of the letter of the law. Machado.
I think this might be the first zone look from Quest, probably in this game.
Yeah, saving it for the end. I mean, Koda doesn't seem too phased by it. Bedley coming back to get involved with the handlers. He sticks around in front of the zone as a crasher. So there's always options here. But in this wind, those little passes can get popped up very easily. We've seen Quest has a hair trigger to kind of pull out these hand blocks.
And perhaps wanting Koda to, perhaps change the way they're playing, especially for the last point where the stakes are high, their nerves are probably high. So maybe they want the handlers to be seeing something different defensively.
Harrison moves that around to Bedley. Playing some pass together. Machado and Stones in the area. The tall Butler hanging out. I mean, there are 5, sometimes 6 Koda players in front of the play here to try and overload the zone. Machado fakes the huck. Kind of took a deep breath there as he faked it. Hear the fire call from Quest, which means they're going to drop to a match defense. Bedley has Harrison up the line. Koda in the red zone now. This is Universe Point. Next goal wins the game. And a pick goal. I was just getting excited.
Jesse Harrison about 20 yards from the end zone line.
Comes in at 5. Coming in at 5. Harrison. Violation. False start. People were moving before the disc was tapped in. A classic. Silver Dawn coming in. Are we good? We are good. Nice. Because it was a violation, that means it never started. So stall 5 once again.
Everyone at the edge of their seats.
Harrison goes over the top with the high release to Stones. She has a big around to Miller, excuse me. Back to Stones. Stones fakes it, has Miller wide open. As Harrison, Jesse Harrison in a foot race. Stones is going to go with the scoop cut. Harrison once again trying to get it done in front of the disc. Lots of cooking. Harrison's wide open. And goal. No calls against Koda. They defeat Quest in a tight one, winning on Universe, going up one break at the very end of the game. It was an on-serve game there at Universe, and Koda breaks for the win, 12-11. They have to be thinking about that stretch goal of 5th. They've just beat the top seed in the tournament.
What a game, Clay. What a game.
Yeah, very exciting. A very tight match. Both teams going on runs. Thanks for joining us. We're going to pop off here and take a little bit of a break before our next round, as Hardcap did go on in that point. So we are streaming the next round very, very soon. We're having a regional diverse matchup here, getting some of the Prairie provinces in. Our next matchup is going to be AFC's Beef versus Saskatchewan's Rut. Shane and Habib will be on the mic for that. That will be starting shortly. I don't know the time, but you can find out all the times for these games by checking CUC 2026 social media. Producer Kat Fontaine doing a great job keeping that together with some fun graphics. So keep an eye on the tournament there. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back shortly.
That was fun. Right? Gave us a show.
Right? Thumbs up, right?